Hi, I'm Juliet, and in this video we're going to explore the second inclusive leadership tip that serves as a reinforcement to the inclusive leadership Welcome to the Table training, but is also an easy tip to follow even if you haven't taken the training. It's another nice reminder of what you and I can put into practice to help sustain an inclusive environment and build our capacity to be inclusive leaders. So as a quick reminder, the aim of inclusive leadership is to create a strong mix of differences and ensure that the mix works well together. So as inclusive leaders, we're ultimately responsible for creating an experience where everyone is welcome to the table and their differences and unique characteristics are embraced, valued, and leveraged in a way that benefits the entire organization and everyone involved. And in the first support video, we explored tip number 1, which was slap yourself to check your biases. Not literally, but going through the SLAP process to help us make more fair and objective assessments and leadership decisions involving others. And now for this video, tip number 2 is grow who you know. But before I really elaborate on this point, I would like for you to do a little exercise. After I share what the exercise entails, you can even pause the video while you do it. But I want you to take out your personal cell phone and scroll through your photos. It's 2019, so I know most of us have plenty of photos to scroll through. Then take a look at your list of contacts in your phone and pay attention to the diversity dimensions that are well represented in your sphere of interaction. What races are well represented, for instance, and perhaps even more importantly, which ones aren't? How about when it comes to gender or sexual orientation or persons with diverse abilities? Who is well represented amongst those that you know well and are connected with outside of work? And who isn't? Then go one step further. Go to your social media pages, especially Facebook and Instagram if you have those accounts, and scroll through your photos and contacts there. And ask yourself the same questions. Who's there and who's not? And here is where you can pause the video for a moment if you need to. Now, some of you may have paused to do this, and some of you may not have even really needed to. You pretty much know right away who's not well represented amongst the people who you know well and associate with outside of work. Most of us tend to associate with other people who are like us. So most of the diversity dimensions that we see in our photos, contacts, and social media are the ones that we ourselves share. That's just human nature, and in and of itself, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So why even go through an exercise like this? Well, because although there's nothing wrong with our natural tendency to connect with people who are like us, as leaders, we do have to be aware of how this can impact our effectiveness at work if we're not careful, as it can limit our ability to effectively relate to others across difference, which is an ability that is critical for effective inclusive leadership. And doing an exercise like this can be a great way to help us become more conscious of what our opportunities are to explore difference, to grow who we know, so that we can better relate to others across difference. And guess what? We all have opportunities where we can learn more to help us better relate to others so that our differences aren't barriers to meaningful connection. And why this is so important can play out in very practical ways, like allowing us to understand the different needs on our teams and how to effectively equip everyone for success, how to effectively utilize the unique talents and gifts that are represented. Not to mention, growing who we know can give us a greater pool of people to choose from when we look to attract top talent to the organization. Imagine being able to reach out to your own diverse network when it comes time to fill your next open position, and have that network reach out to the talent that they know on your behalf, instead of just having to rely on the efforts of your recruiting partners. That's what an inclusive leader is able to do. It enables us to build stronger teams through increased engagement and increase our bottom lines through stronger customer engagement, and ultimately realize the benefits of sustaining an inclusive environment. So now, how? How can you grow who you know? Well, how about start at work with something small? The next time you go to grab someone to get a cup of coffee with, or the next time you invite someone to lunch, how about invite someone who you've never thought to ask? Someone at work who's not well represented in your sphere of interaction outside of work, perhaps. and all you're looking to do is to establish a genuine and meaningful connection. It can really start with something that simple and small. Or if you as a leader tend to have your go-to people on your team that you seek the bulk of your input from, I'd encourage you to start paying attention to whose perspective you haven't been considering as much and go to them next time. Or seek out someone to mentor or be mentored by someone who has different diversity dimensions than you do. Or how about join one of your organization's employee resource groups whose demographic is a diversity dimension that is different than yours and become an ally. And some of the same things that you and I can do at work are things that we can do outside of work. Join a community meetup or a social organization where you'll be exposed to a whole host of people of varying backgrounds and life experiences. There are absolutely some things that you can do to grow who you know. So give this tip a try and see how it helps you to be a more inclusive leader who ensures that everyone is welcome to the table.